There's something a woman can't fake. It's the moment her eyes soften, her guard drops, and she looks at you like you've just touched her soul. That moment doesn't come from flashy compliments or smooth pickup lines. It comes from words that see her, feel her, and honor her heart. And believe it or not, there are certain things you can say that make her feel so deeply understood. She won't be able to resist you, even if she tried. Welcome to Powerful Stoic Way, the place where real connection meets ancient wisdom. Today's topic: if you say this, no woman will resist. But let me be clear, this isn't about manipulation. This is about mastering the language of emotional intelligence, respect, and timeless masculine presence. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 powerful phrases, each one crafted to awaken something rare in a woman's heart. The feeling of being seen, safe, and wanted for who she truly is. These aren't random lines. They're backed by real-life relationship dynamics and proven psychological truths that most men never discover. If you've ever wanted to know what women crave to hear but never admit out loud, then this video will open your eyes in a way you didn't expect. So take a deep breath, clear your mind, because what I'm about to share with you can change the way you communicate with women forever. Number 1. I feel lucky just talking to you. There's a difference between flattery and emotional resonance. When you say to a woman, "I feel lucky just talking to you," you're not just giving a compliment, you're inviting her into a moment that feels rare and special. Let's break this down. In today's world, most compliments a woman hears are either shallow or generic. You're hot, you look amazing, you're beautiful. These may catch her attention for a second, but they don't anchor a feeling. They don't build emotional memory. But when a man says, "I feel lucky just talking to you," it's no longer about her looks. It's about how her presence impacts your emotional world. That shifts the whole dynamic. Here's the psychology. Human beings crave significance. We want to feel that we matter to someone, not just for what we are on the outside, but for how we affect their inner world. When you express that someone brings you a unique joy or calm, they subconsciously feel irreplaceable. Now, think of a real-life situation. Maybe you're on a coffee date, and the conversation is flowing easily. You're laughing, she's sharing stories. You feel present, not distracted. That's your moment. You pause and say with a soft smile, "You know something? I feel lucky just talking to you." There's something about this vibe, it's rare. You'll see a visible shift in her eyes, because suddenly she feels seen in a way most people never offer her. Why does this phrase melt resistance? Because it removes the performance pressure. You're not demanding anything from her. You're not trying to win. You're simply appreciating the moment. And appreciation is disarming. It builds connection instead of tension. From a psychological theory standpoint, this taps into what's known as positive reinforcement of self-worth. When someone feels that their natural, effortless behavior leads to someone else's happiness, they feel safe, validated, and drawn closer to that person. Also, this phrase places you in a position of emotional abundance. You're not needy, you're not chasing, you're grounded in gratitude, and that's attractive on a level most people don't understand. Women are highly sensitive to emotional presence, and when a man lives from presence instead of performance, he becomes unforgettable. Now, let's contrast this with what most men do. They try too hard, they overcompliment, they exaggerate. And women can sense when words are being used as tools to impress, not as sincere reflections. But saying, "I feel lucky just talking to you," doesn't try to impress. It shares a feeling, a real, grounded, honest moment. And that's magnetic. In fact, this phrase opens a gateway for her to become more emotionally vulnerable with you. She may respond by sharing how rare it is for her to feel seen like that. She may open up about past relationships where she was just one of many, or felt like she had to perform to be appreciated. That's your opportunity. You can say, "You don't have to impress me. I already value this connection. It's rare." Boom. You've entered her emotional world. And from there, you're no longer a man she's chatting with. You're the man she starts thinking about after the conversation ends. Remember, words shape memories. If you want to be remembered, make your words reflect the kind of feeling most people never give her. In short, when you say, "I feel lucky just talking to you," you're creating a moment that makes her stop, breathe, and realize this isn't just another conversation. And once a woman feels something different with you, she won't resist, because we don't chase people who compliment us. We chase the people who make us feel something we can't explain. Number 2, you make it easy to be myself. This one sentence, "You make it easy to be myself," is more powerful than 100 compliments, because it touches something every woman deeply craves: emotional safety and non-judgmental space. In a world full of expectations, comparisons, and silent pressures, to hear that she helps someone feel free, real, and unfiltered is deeply affirming. Let's explore the psychology behind it first. Women, just like men, wear masks. They're expected to look perfect, act sweet, be independent but not too strong, attractive but not too available. These conflicting demands create anxiety. And most conversations they have with men are performance-based, full of pretense, flirty games, or approval-seeking behavior. But when you say, "You make it easy to be myself," you're telling her, "Around you I don't have to act. I can relax. I can let go." It signals that her presence isn't intimidating, judgmental, or competitive. Instead, she gives off warmth, softness, or understanding. And when a man verbalizes that, especially with genuine eye contact, it unlocks something primal inside her. It tells her, this man is not performing. He's not manipulating. He's actually present with me. From a psychological theory angle, this relates to Carl Rogers' concept of unconditional positive regard. Rogers said that for anyone to feel truly accepted and open up emotionally, they need to be in an environment where they are not judged, corrected, or handled. Instead, they must feel embraced as they are. So when you say this phrase, you create a rare kind of emotional mirror. You reflect back to her that she's the kind of person who makes others feel safe without even trying. Let's take a real-life scenario. Maybe you're hanging out with her not in some fancy restaurant, but somewhere simple. A bench by the lake. A late-night conversation over tea. You've laughed, maybe even opened up about something personal like a mistake you made, or an insecurity, and you pause, smile gently and say, "You know, it's strange, but you make it really easy to be myself." I don't say that lightly. That moment sticks. Why? Because it reveals emotional courage. In a world where men are told to be tough, detached and emotionless, you've chosen to be authentic instead. That alone makes you stand out. Now, let's talk about what this triggers in her emotionally. First, it creates emotional reciprocity. She'll subconsciously begin thinking, "He feels safe with me. Can I feel the same with him?" That starts a loop of trust. She might say something vulnerable herself. She might open up about her own fears, her doubts, her past relationships, and that right there is bonding in action. Second, it triggers maternal softness. Many women have a nurturing instinct that is activated when someone shows honest vulnerability. But it's important this doesn't come off as needy. You're not saying you're weak. You're saying you feel relaxed and grounded when she's around. That's a powerful distinction. Now contrast that with what most men do. They try to impress her with confidence, jokes, or macho stories, but that doesn't build intimacy. That builds performance tension. It tells her, he's trying to be someone, he's wearing a mask, and women can sense this intuitively. But your phrase, "You make it easy to be myself," says the opposite. It's not a pickup line, it's an emotional truth. It gives her a rare feeling. Around him, I don't have to keep my guard up. Want to know something even deeper? When you say this with stillness, without rushing, and while looking into her eyes, her nervous system responds. Science has shown that eye contact during moments of emotional openness causes the brain to release oxytocin, the bonding chemical. She may not understand why she feels drawn to you, but she will. You're creating a safe emotional container, and that is something most women spend their lives searching for. Let's not forget the power of emotional contrast. Most people don't feel emotionally safe. At work, they're judged. With friends, they hide parts of themselves. Even in relationships, they sometimes walk on eggshells. But here you are, offering something radically different. Not, "I like your outfit," not, "You're so beautiful," but, "You make it easy to be me." It shifts the frame from appearance to essence, from outer beauty to inner harmony. That's the kind of energy women find irresistible, not because it flatters their ego, but because it calms their spirit. In summary, this phrase isn't about her, it's about how you feel in her presence. But by making it about you, you give her the gift of reflection, showing her she creates warmth, not tension, closeness, not conflict. And ultimately, that makes her feel special in a way no man usually makes her feel. Number 3. I feel peaceful when I'm with you. This simple statement, "I feel peaceful when I'm with you," may seem subtle on the surface, but emotionally, it's like a lightning bolt of connection. In a chaotic, overstimulated, fast-paced world, peace is one of the rarest and most desired feelings. And when a woman hears that she is the source of someone's peace, it taps into something deeply nurturing, spiritual, and even sacred within her. Let's first dive into the psychological weight of this sentence. Modern relationships often operate on high drama. There's tension, texting games, emotional push-pull, or endless overthinking. This high-stimulus interaction leaves both men and women exhausted mentally and emotionally. So when you pause, breathe, and tell a woman, "I feel peaceful when I'm with you," you're creating a contrast she'll never forget. Why? Because peace is the ultimate emotional luxury. It's rarer than passion, it's more grounding than attraction. And most importantly, it lasts. While excitement fades, peace builds. Now let's look at what happens internally for her when she hears this phrase. Most women are used to being admired for their looks, their energy, or their presence, but rarely for the calmness they bring. And when you say she makes you feel peaceful, you're saying, You don't just excite me, you ground me. This hits differently. You're not reducing her to her beauty. You're honoring her energy. You're not chasing a high. You're resting in her essence. That's the kind of compliment that resonates at the soul level, not just the surface. From a relationship theory standpoint, this aligns with attachment theory, specifically the concept of safe haven. According to this model, we all subconsciously look for someone who helps us regulate our emotions, a partner who feels like home. When you say she makes you feel peaceful, you're letting her know, you are that safe haven for me. You make the noise stop. Let's bring in a real-life example. Imagine you're spending a quiet evening together. Maybe you're just listening to music or watching the rain fall. No words are needed, no fancy plans. She might ask, "Are you okay?" You're quiet. You smile and say, "Honestly, I'm just taking it all in. I don't get to feel like this, often peaceful. When I'm with you, it's like the world slows down." That moment becomes a core memory for her, because she realizes she doesn't have to try so hard to impress you. She doesn't have to perform. Her mere presence brings calm to someone else. That's more valuable than any scripted compliment, because it reflects emotional truth. Now let's talk about how this phrase positions you as a man. It shows emotional intelligence. It says you're in tune with your own nervous system. You can recognize when you feel tension and when you feel peace. Most men don't even have the words for those feelings, but you do, and you're emotionally grounded enough to express them. That alone makes you different, attractive, memorable. It also conveys emotional maturity. Peace is not something immature people chase. They chase highs, thrills, attention, games. But mature souls look for rest, safety, and alignment. So by saying this, you're also subtly signaling, I'm not here to drain you. I'm here because being near you recharges me. And here's the most powerful part. Once a woman realizes she gives you peace, she'll want more of it too. Because peace is contagious. She'll begin to associate you with that same peace. And that's when attraction transforms into bonding. Think about this. How many people out there truly make you feel calm, accepted, and still? Very few. Most relationships stir up stress, insecurity, or adrenaline. But when a woman feels that she can bring relief to your inner world, that she becomes a break from the noise, you instantly become someone unforgettable in her life. Let's go even deeper. This phrase doesn't just affect her romantically, it affirms her identity. It reflects to her that she's not toxic, dramatic, or chaotic, as she may have been labeled in past relationships. Instead, she's capable of giving someone a healing experience. That's a huge emotional gift. And when you deliver it in the right moment, slow, unhurried, present it lands with full emotional weight. Say it during silence. Say it while holding eye contact. Say it when you're not distracted. Because your calmness is what makes the message land. Here's another layer: spiritual connection. Many people believe that true love feels like peace, not passion. That when you meet the right person, you feel rested, not anxious. That your heart doesn't race out of fear or lust, but softens with safety. So when you say, I feel peaceful when I'm with you, you may be touching something beyond emotion into the spiritual. You're saying, I recognize something divine in you, something that makes me whole. Few women hear things like this, and fewer still believe it when they do. But when it's said with authenticity, stillness, and presence, it becomes unforgettable. Let's wrap this up with the emotional impact. This phrase doesn't seduce, it doesn't flatter, it doesn't aim to impress, it simply reveals a truth. And in that revelation, it draws her closer, not because you asked her to, but because she wants to stay in the space where someone sees her not as an object of desire, but as a source of serenity. That, my friend, is irresistible. Number 4. I trust you. 3 words, so simple yet profoundly powerful. I trust you might not sound as poetic as romantic declarations or as charming as witty compliments. But in the emotional world of a woman's heart, these words strike deep. They bypass the surface-level attraction and go straight to the core of what makes a woman feel safe, valued, and emotionally connected. Let's break down why this phrase, spoken with authenticity, can make a woman feel emotionally overwhelmed in the best possible way. First, let's look at the psychology of trust. According to psychological studies on attachment and bonding, trust is the glue that holds emotional intimacy together. While many men chase connection through compliments, gifts, or physical intimacy, emotional safety is often the strongest foundation for lasting attraction, especially for women. When you say, "I trust you," you're doing more than expressing faith in her actions. You're opening up your emotional vault. You're saying, "I believe in your intentions. I feel safe enough around you to let my guard down." This is deeply impactful because most people, men and women, walk through life wearing emotional armor. They're used to being judged, betrayed, or misunderstood. So when someone says, "I trust you," it feels like being given a sacred responsibility. It's a moment of emotional invitation. But there's more happening underneath. In a woman's world, trust is often hard-earned and rarely given. Women are socialized to be cautious, to protect their hearts, and to constantly scan for red flags. So when a man turns the tables, not asking her to trust him, but saying he trusts her, it surprises her in the most beautiful way. It shows that you're not just seeking validation or approval, you're offering vulnerability. Now, let's take a moment to see how this plays out in real life. Imagine a moment when she opens up to you. Maybe she's talking about her past, her fears, or a mistake she made. Most men either rush to fix it, judge it, or change the topic. But instead, you sit with her in that moment and quietly say, "You know, I trust you. I can feel that you're real with me." That single sentence makes the emotional space between you feel safe, warm, and undeniably intimate. This phrase also works during light-hearted moments, like when you're making a decision together. Maybe you're planning a trip, or she's choosing a restaurant. Instead of controlling everything, you lean back, smile, and say, "You decide. I trust you." These small moments build a foundation of emotional equality. You're not just leading the relationship, you're also co-creating it. And women notice this deeply. They remember the men who give them freedom, faith, and the benefit of the doubt. Now, let's explore the masculine power behind this phrase. Contrary to the idea that trust is a soft or weak quality, it's actually one of the strongest traits a man can show. Why? Because trust requires inner stability. Only a man who is secure in himself can look someone in the eye and say, "I trust you," not out of desperation, but out of conscious choice. You're not saying, "I trust you because I need you." You're saying, "I trust you because I believe you're worthy of it." That's power. That's leadership. That's emotional presence. Also, from a spiritual lens, saying, "I trust you," reflects surrender not in the sense of giving up control, but in choosing connection over fear. You're choosing to believe in the goodness of another soul. That's rare. That's magnetic. Let's also touch on the healing impact of these words. Many women carry emotional wounds from past relationships, cheating, lying, gaslighting, or emotional neglect. These experiences chip away at their ability to feel truly seen or believed in. So when you look her in the eyes and say, "I trust you," without suspicion, without reservation, it becomes medicine. It becomes a healing moment. She might even be taken aback. She may pause. You may see her eyes well up, because in that moment, something inside her that had been guarded softens. And once a woman feels trusted, she naturally becomes more loving, loyal, and emotionally generous. Trust invites her true self to come out. But here's the most important part. This phrase must be backed by energy and action. You can't say, "I trust you," and then second-guess her every move. You can't use it as manipulation or flattery. It has to come from a place of calm strength, a place where you're willing to let someone in, even if there's risk involved. Because true trust is not about guarantees, it's about faith. And when a woman feels that you've willingly placed faith in her character, she feels emotionally chosen, not just for her beauty or body, but for her soul. That's what makes it irresistible. In conclusion, "I trust you" is not just a statement, it's a doorway into emotional depth, into mutual respect, into a kind of love that's based on knowing and being known, not just performance or presentation. It says, "I'm not afraid to give you my heart, because I believe you'll hold it with care." And when you say that with stillness, sincerity, and presence, you'll find that most women don't run away. They lean in closer. Number 5. You don't have to be perfect with me. In a world where perfection is constantly expected, especially from women, this one phrase carries an unexpected emotional weight. "You don't have to be perfect with me" is not just a statement, it's a sanctuary. Women are often under silent but heavy pressure to look a certain way, act composed, be emotionally stable, and never show signs of weakness. This creates an exhausting emotional performance where their true feelings are often buried beneath the surface. When you say this phrase, you offer something few dare to give, the permission to be completely human. It's not about letting go of standards. It's about freeing her from the crushing need to perform for your approval. It communicates that your connection is based not on what she achieves or how polished she is, but who she really is underneath. Psychologically, this taps into a concept called unconditional positive regard, introduced by Carl Rogers. It's the idea of accepting someone fully without demanding they change to be worthy of that acceptance. This is rare, and when a woman feels this kind of acceptance, it often moves her emotionally. It lowers her guard, helps her breathe easier, and allows her to truly connect. Real emotional safety begins when someone knows they can show up messy, flawed, or even scared, and still be met with compassion instead of criticism. Saying, "You don't have to be perfect with me," creates this space. It builds a bridge between hearts that doesn't depend on performance, but presence. Imagine she's had a long, emotionally taxing day. She's frustrated, maybe even emotionally distant. Most people might take it personally or push back, but you instead say gently, "It's okay. You don't have to be perfect with me." That moment becomes a release valve. You become a calm in the storm, a place where her anxiety is soothed. Or maybe she reveals something painful from her past, an insecurity, a mistake, or something she feels ashamed about. If your response is grounded and steady, saying, "That doesn't change how I see you," or "You don't need to hide that from me," you've just given her a gift. Not flowers or compliments, but something much more powerful, the freedom to be raw and still be loved. This is where deep attraction lives, not in the highlight reels of perfection, but in the quiet corners where someone feels safe enough to crumble. It's also where trust grows. You become someone she can turn to, not just for excitement or attraction, but for emotional grounding. And ironically, when a woman knows she doesn't need to be perfect, she often starts shining even more. Her laughter becomes more real. Her touch becomes more affectionate. Her love becomes less guarded. Why? Because she's no longer in survival mode, afraid to make a wrong step. She's in freedom mode, where she can be her full self. However, it's important to remember that words are only the beginning. If you tell her she doesn't have to be perfect, but then withdraw when she cries, gets upset, or shows insecurity, you break the trust. To make these words powerful, they must be backed with patience, presence, and consistency. You become the space, not the pressure. You hold her emotionally without needing to fix her. You listen without trying to rush her feelings away. That's what separates average men from men who leave a permanent imprint on a woman's heart. In the end, telling a woman, "You don't have to be perfect with me," isn't about being soft. It's about being safe. And being safe is one of the most masculine and attractive things a man can be. You're telling her that she doesn't have to fight for your affection with flawless behavior. She already has it. And when she feels, that truly feels it, not even the most charming man in the world could steal her attention from you. Because in you, she finds something deeper than attraction. She finds home. Number 6. I admire the way your mind works. In a world where most compliments to women revolve around beauty, appearance, or sensuality, this one sentence, "I admire the way your mind works," cuts deeper than almost anything else. It does something most men overlook. It touches her intellect, her inner world, the part of her that's often hidden behind smiles and carefully done makeup. You're not complimenting her hair, her eyes, or her body. You're seeing beyond the physical. You're recognizing her thoughts, her perspective, and her unique way of processing the world. That changes everything. It's like unlocking a door to a part of her identity that rarely gets the spotlight, but desperately longs to be valued. Think about it. Most women hear "you're beautiful" almost on autopilot. Social media, strangers, even acquaintances echo it daily. But how often does someone stop, truly engage with her ideas and say, "You're incredibly thoughtful," or "I love how your brain connects things I would never think of"? It's rare, and that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because, while beauty can attract, it's emotional depth and mental appreciation that creates emotional bonding. And bonding is what leads to lasting attraction, respect, and intimacy. There's a psychological principle at play here: cognitive validation. When someone feels that their thoughts are not just heard, but valued, they experience a sense of connection that triggers oxytocin, the same hormone responsible for bonding in romantic and maternal relationships. By complimenting her mind, you validate her humanity, not just her femininity. You become a man who sees all of her, not just her highlights. That kind of presence is unforgettable. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a woman shares an idea about a personal project, or she gives her perspective on a topic you're discussing. Most guys might nod, brush it off, or say, "Nice." But if you pause and say, "Wow, I love how you think about this," that's such a refreshing perspective. Her eyes will light up, not from flattery, but from feeling truly seen. She'll remember that moment, not because you praised her, but because you connected with the deepest layer of her identity, her thoughts. Now, this only works if it's authentic. You can't fake it. If you're going to say, "I admire the way your mind works," you better actually admire it. So listen closely to her stories, her passions, and how she connects dots in conversation. Does she notice things others overlook? Does she express empathy in unique ways? Does she analyze emotions, literature, or even social issues in a way that's quietly brilliant? When you notice these things and reflect them back to her, that's when the magic happens. Because now, you're not just another man trying to get her attention. You're someone who values her core. And here's something else. Women who feel intellectually seen often respond with emotional vulnerability. When she feels like you respect her brain, she's more likely to trust you with her heart. She'll open up more, share deeper layers, and feel more grounded around you. It's a chain reaction. Mental respect breeds emotional safety, which breeds stronger romantic attachment. That's why this phrase doesn't just make her feel admired, it makes her feel emotionally at home. But let's also talk about the confidence this requires. It takes a secure man to compliment a woman's intelligence without feeling threatened by it. Insecure men often avoid praising a woman's intellect because they fear being outshined. But a truly confident man, he loves it. He knows that an intellectually alive woman challenges him, expands his world, and adds richness to his life. So when you say, "I admire the way your mind works," it's not just about her, it's a reflection of your maturity too. Finally, never underestimate how long this compliment can live in her memory. Years from now, when she thinks about the people who made her feel most alive, she won't think of the guy who told her she was hot. She'll remember the one who admired the way her mind worked, because that compliment told her, "I see you, beyond your looks, beyond your role you." And in a world where being seen is rare, that one sentence can make her feel like she finally is. Number 7. With you, I feel peace I've never known before. This one sentence, "With you, I feel peace I've never known before," is not just romantic. It's transformative. While many men focus on charm, wit, or bold declarations of love, this quiet, emotionally loaded statement touches something deeper in a woman's heart, the desire to be someone's calm in the chaos. Every woman, no matter how strong, independent, or adventurous, wants to feel like she brings value to a man's life beyond physical attraction. She wants to feel that her presence matters, that her energy heals, softens, and elevates the man she loves. And when you say this, you're telling her that she's not just desirable, she's sacred space in your life. Peace in today's world is rare. We live in a time of constant noise, scrolling, hustling, overthinking, and most people, men especially, are carrying unspoken burdens. Pressure to perform, to stay stoic, to be strong even when they're hurting inside. So when a woman comes along who doesn't add chaos, but instead soothes it, who doesn't demand, but understands, she becomes unforgettable. By telling her, "I feel peace when I'm with you," you're offering one of the highest compliments imaginable. You're telling her she's not just exciting, she's safe. And safety, emotional safety, is the foundation of real intimacy. Let's look at the psychological truth behind this. According to attachment theory, a secure bond makes a person feel grounded. A woman who brings you peace is subconsciously helping you regulate your nervous system. Your stress lowers when she's near. Your thoughts slow down. Your breathing softens. That's not infatuation, it's alignment. And it hits her even deeper when she knows you recognize that gift. Most women give their energy, love and softness freely, often without acknowledgement. But when you verbalize how her presence impacts your soul, it gives her purpose. It makes her feel chosen, not just for how she looks, but for how she makes you feel on the inside. Picture a moment where you both sit in silence, no need for words, just existing in each other's presence. Maybe you've had a tough day, and she's just there quietly, lovingly. You look at her and say, "With you, I feel peace I've never known before." Her heart will melt, not just from the beauty of the words, but from the truth of what they represent. You've made her more than a partner. You've made her a home. Real-life relationships aren't built on constant excitement or adrenaline. They're built on the ability to rest in someone. And when a woman knows she gives you rest when she feels like she's the reason your shoulders relax, your guard drops and your heart softens, she'll fall even deeper for you. Because now, she's not just your lover. She's your emotional refuge. She's where you go when the world gets loud. And that gives her an irreplaceable role in your life. But here's where maturity matters. Saying this phrase isn't about being poetic for the sake of being romantic. It has to be backed by truth. If she truly does bring you peace, if she listens, calms you, brings warmth into your life, then this phrase is a gift of gratitude. It tells her that the energy she brings isn't being taken for granted. You're aware of it. You're nourished by it. You cherish it. Also, realize that for some women, this sentence is healing. Maybe she's been in relationships where she was told she was too much, too emotional, or too soft. Maybe she's been in spaces where her warmth was dismissed. But now you come along and say, "With you, I feel peace I've never known before." It rewrites her internal story. It affirms that her nature isn't just okay, it's needed. And that is incredibly empowering. To bring this home, remember that every man can tell a woman she's sexy, fun, or interesting. But only a man who is deeply in tune with his emotions can tell her that she's his peace. And when you say that with sincerity, you plant something in her heart that few others ever reach. The desire to stay, to protect that peace, and to keep showing up for you again and again. Because now she knows she's not just loved, she's valued on a soul level. So, if you ever find a woman who makes you feel that kind of peace, tell her. Let her know her presence is medicine for your mind. And watch how she glows, not just in her eyes, but in the way she looks at you, like she's found her forever. So there you have it. 7 phrases that, when spoken with the right intention, will not just make a woman notice you, but make her feel something real. These words are more than just tactics. They're the foundation of emotional intimacy and genuine connection. It's not about saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. It's about being authentic, confident, and aware of the power your words hold. But here's the truth: you could say all the right things, But if your actions don't match, the words lose their weight. It's your presence, your energy, and your authenticity that will make these phrases truly resonate. When you speak these words, make sure they come from a place of honesty, respect, and vulnerability. That's when the magic happens. If you want to truly unlock the power of connection with women, it starts with understanding the impact of your words and how they shape not only your relationships, but your entire life. If this video opened your eyes to something new, don't let it end here. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below sharing which phrase resonated with you the most. And remember, real connections begin with real words. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay powerful, stay stoic, and keep speaking from the heart.